3 women murdered in one morning at 3 locations in the Ottawa Valley a decade ago. Natalie Warmerdam, Anastasia Kuzik, and Carol Culleton. The hours-long manhunt that followed, ending with the arrest of their abusive ex, Basil Barutsky. At the time, he'd recently been on probation for threatening Warmerdam's family, and he was on active probation for choking and beating Kuzik. But he was never considered for intensive supervision, even though he met the criteria. The triggers for his offenses never properly identified, among other failures. So what was the score his probation officer received just 2 days after the slayings? Target met, the highest that can be awarded.
I don't know. It's baffling.
If you can look at the events that unfolded in Renfrew County and say, yeah, we did just about everything right here, you are clearly measuring the wrong things.
The new details contained in a rare disclosure of Barutsky's probation file, handed to CBC last month after a 2-year battle for it. The records show the same manager who gave the top score performed 2 other case reviews, well ahead of the murders. Unlike the Target Met review, however, the results weren't provided, and the ministry responsible for probation declined to answer why. What is known is that after the first reviews, the tactics to control Barutsky did not change, not after Kuzik was beaten and choked, and not after repeated warnings from officials. This man is unpredictable and is once again playing games and getting away with it. Victim Witness Assistance Program Crown and Police characterize the subject as a master of manipulation. It has been my experience with abusers such as Barutsky that he will not comply at all. You will have to breach, and breach him forever. In the end, he was never charged with breach of probation, even after failing to attend a court-ordered program for domestic violence offenders for years. An inquest into the murders 3 years ago heard multiple opportunities to intervene were missed, sometimes, as with the court-ordered program, with no explanation. Enforcement decision rationale for noncompliance was never documented, nor was Mr. Barutsky held accountable for his actions.
We had the opportunity to change the outcome of this story and potentially save the lives of these 3 women, at least at that time. Different players in the system all had pretty conclusive data about this perpetrator's non-cooperation. What wasn't happening was that those weren't being amalgamated together in the way that you'd hope management would be doing.
For Kirsten and Malcolm, the problem is not with probation staff. It's with the management case review tool itself, or whatever factors might be making it hard to do properly. The ministry says local managers directly overseeing their officers mostly do these reviews. They go over offender management plans, risk assessments, enforcement tactics, and more, and outline strengths, areas to be addressed, and outstanding actions required.
Did they get a high score because the manager looked at it and went, knowing how high your caseload is, this was you doing more than enough? If this is how the case is handled, that needs to be considered a problem. Whatever that problem lies, that's not appropriate.
Malcolm worries for other victims of intimate partner violence, relying on the probation system to keep them alive. His mother, Natalie, repeatedly advocated for herself to officials, but still ended up murdered.
When someone who still can't manage to keep themselves safe, I can't imagine how hopeless that may make it seem to others for whom advocating for themselves is something maybe beyond what they're able to do at the time.
The Ministry of the Solicitor General says it's updated its management case review tool since 2015, but it also says its assessment criteria and how it consolidates findings are relatively unchanged. The ministry declined to say what's different. Christy Neese, CBC News, Ottawa.